So today we're tackling a topic that I'll admit I was a little hesitant to even approach.
I bet.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about end times prophecies. And when I first started reading these excerpts, I gotta say I got a little freaked out.
Yeah.
All those images of fire and brimstone and the world ending, not exactly light reading, but that's why you're here. To walk us through what these prophecies actually mean. We got excerpts from both the Old and New Testaments, right?
Right.
And one of the things that really tripped me up was how some of these verses kind of make it sound like the world ended back when Jesus was around.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, did it? What's going on there? Help me out here.
Well, you've hit on one of the biggest misunderstandings about these prophecies. The Bible often uses really strong symbolic language
It does.
to get across these deep spiritual truths. So when we read these doom and gloom pronouncements in the Old Testament, like in Genesis 6, it says God's going to put an end to all people and wipe out both them and the earth.
Pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. And then there's Ezekiel 7, talks about the end being right there on their doorstep.
Yeah, those are some seriously scary verses.
They are. But you got to remember, for the people hearing those words back then, the end of their world as they knew it, their nation, their temple, their whole way of life was a very real threat.
Oh, I see.
So to them, yeah, that was apocalyptic.
Okay, so maybe not the literal planet Earth ending. But...
Exactly. More like the end of an era.
So like when the Roman Empire fell, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. The Bible often uses the term end times to talk about these massive transitions and shakeups. And it's not just destruction, it's also about judgment and purification to make way for something new and better. Like you think about the Babylonian exile. For the Israelites, that was a total end times event.
Wow.
Full of suffering and loss. But in the end, it led them to recommit to their faith and return to their homeland. So it was an ending, but also a new beginning.
Right, I get that.
Yeah.
So how does that idea of end times as like a period of transition,
Yeah.
how does that fit in with Jesus and what we see in the New Testament? Because there's still a lot of talk about the last days and all that, versus like 1 Peter 1.20, Hebrews 9.26, 1 John 2.19. They all seem to point to something big going down.
Yeah. This is where we get into the whole fascinating world of study of last things.